Today on World Break Channel, I'm privileged to have a special guest with me who comes from a country that I was privileged to visit last year, which is a very beautiful and lovely country. Please welcome to World Break Channel.
Thank you so much, Evans.
Right. So before we go any further, can you please introduce yourself, where you are, and anything about your country?
So thank you once again for inviting me to this channel. My name is Harriet Atieno Ahalo, and I come from a beautiful country called Kenya, which is in the east part of Africa. And I work a lot with the communities. And thank you. I'm actually looking forward to having this conversation with you.
Okay.
Mhm.
I know you are someone who have traveled across the globe. What are some of the things people say when they hear that you are from Kenya?
That's an interesting question, because I've had instances where someone would ask me, "Oh, is Kenya? No, is Kenya in or are you from Africa? Is Africa a country?" Or there are some people who have heard about Kenya because of some of the international events that have been happening where Kenya has been in the limelight. And so they are like, "Oh, do you run? Do you know how to run?" I've heard about Kenya having a lot of animals. Do you have animals walking around? Have you ever walked with the lions? I'm like, if I do that, I will die. I mean, I always feel proud if I hear people talking about or even asking about Kenya, even though some of the information that they have is misinformation or perceptions about this beautiful country, but also in particular Africa at large. But it makes me feel proud that there's something good that people know about Africa and Kenya, to be specific.
Okay, so let's talk about the history and heritage of Kenya. What can you say about it?
I mean, what exactly would you like to know about history?
What shaped your history of your country?
I think Kenya is an interesting country, and I would say, before independence, we were a British protectorate, and meaning that we were colonized by the British, and it was one of the British protectorate, and Tanzania and Uganda, they were also part of the protectorate, and that's why if you look at the history we have, or if you look at Kenya, we have this this union that we have, the East Africa Community, and the original countries are the three countries: Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And later on, we've had countries that have joined in that also are part of the larger Eastern Africa. But I think over time, there are, specific things that I would want to mention, like culture, languages, things that define us as a people. We have different languages, over 47 languages and tribes.
46 different languages.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. And the beauty of it is that if you go to one part of the country, there are people who speak different languages. They have their own different ways of life. They have their, they have their own songs, the way they dress up, the kind of food that they eat. But if, in as much as we have this diversity, if you go to the capital, which is Nairobi,
yes,
it's one of, I feel that it's very interesting in the sense that when you go there, you'll feel at home, whether you come from, the Western world, even if you're not from Kenya, you'll just feel at home because you'll find something that, resonates with you and also, your people and where you're coming from.
So there's no one language which is spoken in all areas?
There's a unifying language.
Yes.
That's called Swahili. Yeah.
Okay, maybe before we end this, you are going to teach us maybe a few words in Swahili. Right. Coming to the issue of food, like the cuisines, what are the common types of food that you have there in Kenya?
I'll talk about sukuma wiki. And it's a common meal in every Kenyan home. And it's something that, the moment you land to Kenya, that's one thing that you'll find everywhere. Whether you go to a 5-star hotel, you'll find sukuma wiki, and that's normally known as, collard greens. So, Evans, this food sukuma wiki comes from a Swahili language.
Okay.
And in a literal sense, you can say that it actually means, pushing the weak. That's why I think you find it, I mean, in every household, but also people do take it, from Monday to Sunday. It's something that you'll never miss in a Kenyan home. And we do take it with beef stew and a specific type of cake made out of corn flour, but we call it maize flour.
That's interesting. Maybe in one of our sessions on what dishes we're going to bring in, then you can take us through making that. Right.
Yes.
You spoke about Nairobi. Nairobi is a very, very beautiful city. Very, very lovely. And I loved when I went there and I could resonate with a lot of things there.
Yeah.
But I should also is one of the most noisiest place that I've ever been. Trust me, there's a time that I said to my friend, let's use public transport. Wow. The noise there, you can't actually speak to someone next to you.
Yeah, you have to shout. Yeah, you have to shout.
Can you say more about maybe the issue of entertainment and the arts in your country? Like, how is it like? Who are the key singers, the popular ones, and so on?
So originally, I'm from the coastal city, Mombasa, and so that's a very laid-back city. In as much as Nairobi is the capital, but it's a place that I don't find it interesting because of, the noise, the fast life. But if you look at it in terms of opportunities, there are so many opportunities. And I must say that a lot of young people, they've been able to thrive, in Nairobi. Not to say that in the other cities, there are no opportunities, but if you look at the number of opportunities in Nairobi, there are so much. And also because of, its cosmopolitan nature. It's a place where there's a lot of diversity. And I remember when we began this conversation, I mentioned that we have different tribes and they are placed in the different areas of the country.
So basically, what is Kenya known for?
Kenya is known for a lot of things. I think we are known for athletics. And
that one is for sure.
Oh yes.
Not just athletics, say long distance running.
Long distance running. I mean, you can't take that away from Kenya.
Can you run yourself?
Can you imagine? I used to run when I was still in primary.
Okay.
Yes, up to the national levels. But then when I got to high school, that's how I ended my...
You started being shy.
Not really. But then again, like I've told you, with the different tribes that we have, so there's a specific tribe that, is producing a lot of, athletes. And I'm not from that tribe. Okay. But we have people from different tribes who are also doing very well in athletics.
Okay.
And so that's one thing that Kenya is known for.
Yes.
And then we are also known for music. We have, great musicians like Sauti Sol. We are also known for comedy. We have people like Eric Omondi, Oga Obina, people like like them. And we are also known for, I think, acting, things like that. And I think we have Kenyans, even in the diaspora, who are doing very well. And we always claim Lupita Nyong'o as our own. And we also have comedians like Elsa Majimbo. She's still very young and she's doing amazing, amazing work here in the US. And so I think those are some of the things that Kenya is known for. But I also think that Kenya is also known for its diversity. Okay. And in as much as we are an African country, but if you come to Kenya, you would find, the different tribes, the different people from the different parts of the world. I mean, you won't miss something about your own culture, about your own country. And it's also a fast-growing country along the East Africa region. But also, I think in terms of also consuming technology, it's one of the countries that is, very, very, fast-paced in terms of consuming technology.
In terms of that, your currency.
We use the Kenya shillings.
Okay.
Yeah.
And against the US?
Currently, I checked it in the morning, and
Yes.
I was given, or the rate was 1 shillings to $130. No, sorry, $1 to 130 shillings.
That is
Yeah,
the official.
that is not the official. That is what the mobile transfer apps are giving us. Yeah, but
Okay.
of course, I think it's a little bit higher because they also have to earn their profit.
Let's move on to the issue of tourism and travel tips. If someone today says, I want to come to Kenya, what can you tell them?
Come to Kenya. Karibu Kenya. Kenya hakuna matata.
Oh, that's where Hakuna Matata comes from. Yeah, I know
Yes.
it. Like from this cartoon, you know it, right?
Yeah.
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah, but
No worries.
yes, there's no worry in Kenya. So
Okay.
please come. That's the only thing that I would tell people. Come and explore Kenya. Come and come and see what we are talking about, because the beauty of experiencing thing is by coming to see it for yourself, but at the same time being able to appreciate the things that we are talking about. I'm here, talking about Kenya. You might either believe it or not, but really just you coming there and having that lived experience, I mean, it's everything. So by the way, we have a lot of national parks.
Okay.
And one thing that I haven't mentioned is that Kenya is the cradle of humanity. And if you are someone who's into anthropology, you'd come and see, and also experience a lot of, museums, and also some of these things that have been excavated by paleontologists. We also have a national park in the middle of the city. So you'd be in the park, but also seeing the beautiful city.
Wow.
And you'll also come and experience the beautiful sandy beaches along the coast. And the coast also has an interesting history, because when they discovered the East Coast, we had the Arabs and the Asians who came through the East Coast. And so there are a lot of buildings, a lot of architecture, a lot of culture that is associated with this particular people. We also have the Swahili language itself. It has a lot of influence from these groups, like the Arabs.
Okay, so thank you for shedding more light on those places where somebody can visit you. So before you leave, can you please teach us a few words in your own language? If you say someone should just know that language from Kenya.
Oh, before I do that, so if you see anyone with this thing, know that they are Kenyans. Oh, they love Kenya, but they are major shareholders in Kenya.
Okay.
So this is one thing that any Kenyan, either in Kenya or out of Kenya, they like wearing. And I'm also having one because it's something that makes me feel home. It also makes me feel very proud about Kenya. And also just, being part of the African community. It's beautiful. So going back to your question, if you asked me to teach you something in my language, I'm from a different language community. Sorry.
Okay, maybe you can teach us maybe in Swahili.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so
besides Hakuna Matata.
All right, so you need to learn Hakuna Matata. Like, there's no worry. Just come, relax, have fun. And you can say habari.
Habari.
Habari. Habari means, hi, how are you?
Habari.
Yes.
Habari producers.
And it's a general word that you can use to, you can say to anyone of different age.
Okay.
But if you're a youngster, you can say, Oya mambo vipi.
Oya mambo vipi.
Yes.
It's easy.
Yeah. And then there's asante to mean thank you.
Asante.
Yeah. And then I think those are the basic things that I think it's important. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much for saying those kind words, and thank you for taking your time to come and share with us about Kenya.
Yeah.
And we have learned a lot, and asante.
Karibu.